Hello, friends, and welcome to the 2019 March Madness Grid Selection Show. You have purchased a box and a grid as part of a fundraiser for Johnstown Lacrosse. Thank you very much, and in just a moment, you're going to be finding out what your special pair of numbers are going to be. This is going to very likely enhance your viewing of this great annual event, the March Madness Tournament, the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament, as you'll be watching these games unfold and rooting for your numbers to end on the final score and sometimes come really close and sometimes not be very close and sometimes hit it right on. Well, at least some of you are going to hit. Of course, not everybody can win, but many people will win, and we'll find out over the next couple of weeks. So here in just a moment, we're going to go ahead and draw up the grid and randomly determine the numbers and your pair of numbers. But before we do that, I wanted to look at this one question or concern, and that is this question about what about these double numbers? What I mean by a double number is when the winner's last digit and the loser's last digit are the same. For example, 3-3 or 0-0 or 8-8. The concern is, hey, these likely don't come up as frequently as the other numbers do because for them to hit, the difference in the score has to be an increment of 10. For example, 85 75 or 68 48. You get the picture. So the question then is, do these numbers come up less often? Well, if they came up about relatively the same, that would be about 10%, right? Because there's 10 double numbers out of the entire grid of 100. So 10 out of 100 is 10%. So I think it would be fair to assume if we had a little bit of a range of error around that, let's say 90-11%, that if they come up 90-11% of the time, then it's fair to say that they're no more frequent or infrequent than all the other numbers. But here's what I did. I went back and I studied this out. Since 2010, I've looked over the last 9 tournaments and plotted the final scores of each of those to see which were the hot numbers and which were the cold numbers, and really focused in on these double numbers. You know what? That's actually 567 games that I've studied over the last couple of weeks to put this together. And here's what I found. I found that these double numbers came up 42 times. You make that a percentage, and that is actually just 7.4%. So you know what? These double numbers do come up a little less frequently than all the other numbers. So you're asking yourself now, well, if these double numbers, out of these double numbers, are there any that are particularly good? And you know what? Yes, there are. The best double numbers out there, or at least what history has shown, and of course, we've got to remember history is no, how do they say that? Past history is no indicator of future performance, but the past history has shown these two sets of numbers, the 1-1 and the 5-5, those have actually hit 6 times out of the last 9 years. In 2013, as you can see, 1-1 actually hit 3 times, and 5-5 has actually hit 5 out of the last 9 years. Okay, let's flip the other side. What about the worst double numbers? Are there any of those? You betcha. It is the lucky, well, I don't know about lucky. Let's call it the unlucky 7. Actually, the double number 7-7 has only hit once out of the last 567 games, and that was in the Sweet 16 of 2011. It has not hit since. Okay, let's not think about the double numbers. What about all the numbers? All of them combined. Are there any that are particularly bad? Well, yeah, of course, this 7-7 is bad. It's only hit one time out of the study of 9 years. And you know what? There's another pair. I'm going to call that the elusive 4-5. The elusive 4-5 has actually only hit once as well. And there's a backstory to that elusive 4-5. If you can imagine me tracking these results and filling into a grid, the 4-5 was actually the very last grid spot or square taken. It finally hit in a second round game of 2017, meaning there was 480 games prior that had tracked into the grid before 4-5 finally got hit. Interesting. But so now I can say that all pairs of numbers over the last 9 years have hit at least once. That's one learning point. Hey, one more thing. If there's a worst pair of numbers overall, how about some best ones? Well, yeah, you know what? Check this one out. The old 7-5, the winner with the 7, the loser with the 5, has hit an amazing 12 times. That's 2.12%, which is actually more than double what you would expect. You would expect 1 out of 100 times or 1%. And We also have 3 sets of numbers that have hit you 11 times, the 1-6, the 9-7, and the 2-8, and that translates to 1.94%. So those 4 sets of numbers are what you're rooting for here when we go to draw these numbers out. Probably your next question is, so Ralph, hey, can I get my numbers? Can I get my numbers, please? So yes, let's go ahead and move on with randomly drawing up the grid and then putting numbers along the sides. So actually, let's move forward with creating this grid in a random way. So the methodology here is going to be 2 parts. Number 1, we're going to fill this grid with somebody's name, with everybody's name. And then number 2, we're going to go and find a way to put numbers along the top. Those are the winner's last digit. And the numbers down the left from top to bottom. Those are the loser's last digit. So first, let's fill out this grid with people's names. Well, for example, let's look at this number right here, 14. It actually is directed over here from sheet 1, cell D17. So if I go to sheet 1 and D17, that's right here, that's number 14. I'm sorry, right there. As you can see, D17 right there has the number 14. So what I'm going to end up doing is, here's all of our contestants' names in alphabetical order. I'm going to kind of scroll through that rather quickly. You should be seeing your name in there somewhere, right? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to randomly assign a number to each name between, say, 1 and 50,000. Then I'm going to sort those numbers from smallest to largest, and that's going to be our new random order that I'm going to put over on top of this that will flow over here to the grid. So let's do that. First of all, that function is known as equals rand between, R-A-N-D between, right there. And what you do then is, I'm going to between the lowest number 1 up to 50,000, okay? I'm going to hit enter, and Alan Foe, that is his random number. Now here's the thing with this function. Every time you do something in that cell, it runs again. So as soon as I touch that cell or do something there, it's going to make a new random number. But anyway, so his will change. But I'm going to copy these down over everybody's name to the bottom. Boom, there we go. And everybody was assigned one of those random numbers. And I'm going to kind of look for the smallest one. I saw 2600 down near the bottom. 2616 was the smallest number I've seen so far. Maybe you're going to see your name in there too. 2616 is still the smallest number that I've seen. Oh, 220. Brett Carone is 220. So when I go to sort here in just a second, he's going to come to the top of the list. And you can see Alan Foe had a small number too. So here we go. I'm going to highlight both of these, and this time I'm going to sort by the left side, the number. And this is going to put our folks, your names, into a new random order. So I'm going to come over here to filter, and I'm going to choose custom sort on, let's see, on column A, and from smallest to largest. So here we go. Again, this is going to change the random number, but it's using what occurred last. So there's a couple of the random numbers that came to the top. So now the next step is just to take these names, highlight over the entire column, copy, and then paste over these numbers here, right? And I probably don't need to copy it all the way down, but I'm going to, just to be safe, and paste the values. And there we have it, those numbers. But guess what? They now flowed over to the grid. So there you have it. That's what the grid looks like. That's how your name got put in a specific spot in the grid. So next up, we're going to go ahead and find a way to fill out the top and the left side. So the last piece of this puzzle is determining the numbers that go from left to right for the winner's last digit of their score, and the digits that go from top to bottom along the left side, that is the last digit of the loser's score. And to do that, I'm using this tool off of this website. You can see the address there. And it's basically a Super Bowl Squares random number generator. Here in a second, I'm going to click this button, and it's just going to fill these sides up with numbers. You ready for it? Here we go. Generate numbers, and there you have it. Along the top, we have 601 543 9782, and then down the left, as you can see, it is 849 105 3672. complete with Barilla pasta, available from Prime. Anyway, that's how the numbers were completed and found to finish up the grid and to finish up the selection process here. I cannot show more than one screen at a time. So what I will do now is take these numbers, put them on top of the grid we just determined a second ago, and then email that out to you. So, hey, thank you very much for getting in this pool. It's for a good cause, fundraiser for Johnstown Lacrosse. And hey, just as importantly, you know what? You're gonna have a blast. You're gonna hold on to this grid. You're gonna watch a lot of these games and watch them finish, knowing that you're gonna have a chance to win some money. So, hey, have a lot of fun. Enjoy the games over the next 3 weeks, and take care. Thank you.